inspired. In the previous development live stream, I started working on this concept, this wandering diverger idea, right? Because in Path of Magic, we have these diverger that you can trade with, right? Like here, for example, this is a foreman, one of the special diverger, but all the diverger have utility. Let's say, like let's find something I can sell. I guess yeah, I can trade. No, it's grousing for stone. Can't do any of those. I could ask it about something. Like, let's see, the shield core. There we go. So if I try and give the diverger the shield core, they're like, ah, okay. Well, if you give me 20 of them, I'll give you 1,800 coins, right? So we've already added a lot of these utilities to Path of Magic. But what I haven't really looked at much was exploration. And what I got really into is this notion that we can place these very rewarding diverger out in the wild. And instead of like a trade that's reusable over and over, something you put in your base, these diverger are like one-time, almost like quests. I'm not calling them quests, but that's what they basically turned into. And I got super into that. And it's all been playtested. Well, I playtested it at least to the point where I know how to do it and it works, and I've redone it over and over again so it feels more smooth, and I'm really happy with how it's feeling. And I'll be able to playtest that next week probably. So this week what we're gonna do is go get some money, because I can't really buy much stuff, and as you saw in the previous stream, I actually was running out of stone. But there's no need for that. I can go acquire all the coins that I need. In an interesting turn of events, the plane is a fantastic source of all these metals and building materials, right? But coins, I would say coins are sparse here, which at first I was gonna adjust and make it so the goblins dropped more valuable stuff. But then I was just thinking about it, and I was like, wait a second. Right now, in this very moment, what do I want to do? Well, I want to go into the Black Forest so I can try and get some more money. Isn't that exactly what the whole point is? Isn't that what I'm going for? Going to different biomes and all these things? So maybe I should just leave it that way, where, you know, each biome, you get lots and lots of a different kind of resource. That part happens. But you still need those other resources as well, right? And on Palm, there's a lot of attrition. So you end up with things that you need more of than you might expect, let's say. Let's see, right now I'm just looking for some basic food. I could just take an onion, to be honest. Onions aren't that bad. Raw onion. Yeah, gotta have some raw onion with my onion stew and my serpent stew. Give it that spice. So let's see, I'm gonna take the fast ship. It's an action day. We're not building the castle. We're gonna go get some stuff so that we can buy things to build the castle. And the main thing is getting more coins, because then I can buy more stone. And the thing that's holding me back isn't so much the grouse stone for the trim or the black marble, it's the stone. So we're gonna take our little boat down there, take ourselves, let's see, am I forgetting anything? Ah, clearly I'm forgetting arrows. Oh, no, I have arrows. Wow, how forward thinking. Okay, you gotta feature a drop base, you know. I'd love that. There's something about that moment where you drop down. It gets me going. I'm like, alright, I'm ready to go off on the adventure now. Like Viking Batman. Well, I guess it depends. I'm a normal Viking unless the wind is sort of reasonable. And for now, I can either try and make it through with the super fast ship that way, or I can be patient and go this way. So I'm gonna be patient. And we're gonna go look for this little stretch of Black Forest over here. Because I should do pretty well in the Black Forest, because I've been used to the plains now. I've been fighting these these things, you know what I mean? But we'll see, we'll see. Maybe I'll eat my words. This is the crazy boat, as you're about to see. Crazy boat goes so fast that you don't even really want to keep the sails down, because it's just like, it's too intense. It makes the land seem like it's water sometimes. It does give you a lot of speed though. Yeah, here we go. Having 2 sails down is reasonable, but even then in a river like this, it's very easy to like overturn the carve. The carve's very finicky when it goes super fast. It's very easy to turn on too much of a dime, and you end up like rotating, and you can like flip the boat by turning too quickly if it's storming, and you're it's really funny, to be honest. I absolutely love it. I have a lot of fun with the boat. That's why I like this one. There's other boats that are like not as easy to crash, but I find them to be more boring, to be honest. I like the thrilling lifestyle of the tune. So what we're looking for now is a burial chamber. What's he doing there? I've been looking for goblins for a while, right? And I'm used to getting one shot by them. So maybe, in theory, I can actually like raid a burial chamber in a Black Forest and not get ganked. You never know though. Don't put it past me to find a way to die still. I know there's some somewhere over here. I'm just not sure exactly where they are. Ah, that looks like one. Wait, that is one. I think that's the one. There's one that I forgot to unregister, so it's like not there, even though it looks like it's there. Not sure what that's about, but I noticed that the other day. Okay, here we are. Let's see. Let's see how I do. I've been relying on the bubble shield to keep me strong here. So we're near the water. That's convenient, actually. We're at the base of the world tree, so to speak. That's where the boat is. So I just head towards the base of the world tree. I can get back to the boat. But this area is not that big, and it's near the main path anyway, so I'm not going to get lost here. I might, like, get lost for a moment, but then it's probably fine. Hey, here we go. Nope, nope. Yeah, I need to move some of these, because I placed them before I knew that you can't place burial chambers where there is a... You can't place them on, like, a zone edge. They have to be in the center. Anything that's a dungeon has to be in the center of the world, pretty much. Hey, yeah, this is Jake's tower up here. So that means there's definitely... Jarrett's base is over here. This bridge leads to Jarrett's base. And Jake's tower is up there, so... Oh, yeah, there we go. That looks like an active burial chamber. Surrounded by monsters. More like what I'm looking for. So I'm gonna be smart, and now that I'm finally more used to Path of Magic, I know more how to play like a Palm player. When I first started this playthrough, I played more like I was playing normal Valheim, which is pretty funny because I was just like working on development stuff for a long time, so you'd think I would know how to use the features, but I found that I actually still would rely on the things I knew how to do originally over like learning a new mechanic. So this playthrough has really helped me get more used to the way things work on Path of Magic. And one of the main things I've worked on testing on Palm is like making melee more viable in higher difficulty settings. And there's a lot we learned from that. But I really like this way of handling it with this bubble barrier, because then it makes this dynamic where when you're being defensive, you'll stay alive. But you have to open yourself up to attack, and in that moment, if you get hit twice, you'll get killed. And it makes this really interesting feel where, like, oftentimes I feel like, oh, I'm strong, I already know how to do this, I don't have to worry. And then like I'll mess up for a moment and then I'll get killed and I'm like, ah, I get that's exactly what I want, basically. I want to be put in my place by the game. That's the goal. And the dungeons are different on Palm because they're more like stuff can spawn around you as you're in the dungeon. So something could spawn behind you. You have to be really careful. You could clear a place and then go back there and suddenly there's a bunch of monsters there, right? Oh, whoa, 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 like that. Like, where did he come from? Oh, no more bubble shield? Oh, I'm in trouble. I have to, like, sideways dodge him. Oh, God. Oof. Those guys are just the summoned ones. They're very, very, fickle, let's say. They do a lot of damage, but barely have any health, so they're really easy to destroy. Tasty mead! Someday I'm gonna learn how to use tasty mead. I know, like, ideally, it's a very short acting mead. It's actually, like, really unique compared to all the other meads. So I think you use it, if I remember right, lower increased stamina regen, but only for like 10 seconds or a minute or something. So it's like when you run out of stamina, you use tasty mead to recover your stamina, right? But I think it'll only get applied if there's, like if you stop using the stamina, right? You know what I mean? I guess we'll see in a second. I'll use it up and then see. Whoa, 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 whoa. Sounds scary. Hey, I'm getting lucky with these cores. It's kind of cool how these burial chambers, they ended up being the best source of money. Or one of the better sources, at least. Which is cool. I like how that worked out. I'm like incentivized to come back. Whoa, 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 mister. Ah, yeah, I can get the speed buff. That's right. I already have it. Eat my fist. Ah, he didn't come back to life. Sometimes they can teleport themselves back into life. It's pretty funny. Let's see, give me a moment here. I'm just gonna take a second to reflect and sip this tea. I often have a cup of tea and I just completely forget to sip it. You can see there's a lot of coins and stuff. There's a lot of combat, sorry. Ah, there we go. There's something more worth the trouble. I think I can survive a hit, right? Yeah, you're just a normal wraith, nothing problematic. Palm still has that Valheim thing where once you get geared, for the most part, normal enemies are, they're not that much of a threat. Other enemies can be way more of a problem. And on Path of Magic in particular, spawners are way beefed up. So I can already tell there's a spawner somewhere there. So not only do enemies spawn in ways you might not expect normally, but also the spawners themselves don't behave the same way you expect. Like, they can come back to life, they trigger multiple more enemy types than you're used to, etc., etc. Like right now, I'm being overwhelmed because there's some kind of spawner in that next room. And maybe there's two spawners near each other. So, like, I can't even see where the spawner is. There we go. Yeah, there's one over there. Ooh, yeah, you see that? That twitcher? This is where having silver arrows is, like, such a big thing, but I think for now I'm probably geared enough because I have empowered gear, right? So I'm better off than I would normally be. What do we have here? Don't tell me there's no spawner. There's got to be a spawner here. Maybe they destroyed it. Oh, no, there it is. There it is. It wasn't even right here. It was just off to the side. Okay, okay. Sometimes there's like wraiths stuck in these rooms. Alright. Anticlimactic. That's how you feel, right? But then you turn around and boom, suddenly there's nonsense behind you. So you really have to be, careful. What's that? Is there a room? There's like a room on the other side of this. Huh. Interesting. And the more monsters you kill, hey, there's definitely a room on the other side of this wall. the more monsters you kill, the more loot you'll get. Because it's like the server knows you're up in a dungeon, and so it adds more chances for certain kinds of loot based on the kind of dungeon you're in. And that's how like I try and work the monster types, so that in general the burial chambers give you tin and like wealth, and then the sunken crypts give you iron and tar, and the more monsters you kill, the more iron you get, because it converts their drops into iron as long as they die up in the sunken crypt, basically. Ooh, I see, mister. You're a sneaky one, aren't you? Yeah. Yeah, it's so much easier now with the empowered gear. So I can stun the enemies more easily, and I've been used to the plains goblins. So just you wait. Now I'm gonna feel a little powerful, and then I'm gonna go back into the plains and just get ganked. For now I'm okay though. I gotta be careful of that 2-star Droger, but luckily they're too big that I don't have to worry that much. Because I will be a little bit more cautious than normal here. Because if I die, I have to come all the way back here without a quest boat. So I'm not into that, but also it makes it more thrilling. I should be fine though, it's just a burial chamber. Just a burial chamber. Famous last words, right? Sure, just a burial chamber. It's just a burial chamber. I should have brought a pickaxe, that's what I'm missing. Ooh, you got a friend over there, huh? Yeah, that's right. I can blow you up. Oh, 1 star. I'm not gonna, oh, I should have taken my risk with that. Oh, I'm okay. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't block it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Okay, I'm glad I can survive a hit from this guy. I guess they don't do that much damage then. Famous last words? No, I'm alright. Yeah, I didn't, that's the only chart I felt like I could get away with being in the burial chamber sometimes, because they're like glass cannons, they're really easy to kill. Even if you have like a weaker weapon, they barely have any health. They're the ones that get summoned like by the warlocks, I think, something like that. Alright, this looks like a situation I should stay away from. Sometimes I feel like I gotta hold my breath. Honestly, I've had an absolute blast. I'm really glad that Valheim exists, because my relationship with gaming in general used to be just more, I wouldn't say necessarily toxic. I guess a better word is neglectful. Like I would neglect myself through just playing games a lot. And like I love playing games, and I'm perfectly happy playing games every day. But I've learned that like I'm not actually happy doing that. And what makes me happy is like having multiple things that I work on in my life that I care about, a few of which can be related to playing games, but not everything. Nature is like fundamentally important for me, and I need, like, for me, I needed to have plants and animals to take care of before I really started taking care of myself. And I think that's something that we've sort of outsourced out of life in the developed land, so to speak, that has been to our own detriment, something that's hurt us. Because I find that it's a lot easier for me to live like a a creative life, when I also have plants to take care of and other things that draw me away from the computer. So I'm not just looking at screens all the time. I definitely get overstimulated, and I think that that's true for most people. It's inherently, and being a modern human is inherently overstimulating and overwhelming process, you know? So for me, Valheim, it really opened my eyes in a couple ways. And then when I started working with EWP, that like opened it further. And then it's like, dang, not only is Valheim really interesting, but now you can practice vanilla modding and you can do anything you want with whatever exists in the game, as long as you use things that already exist in the game. And that, I think, is something that's really, really fascinating. It's really incredible. Oh gosh, oh gosh. Dang, this is gnarlier than I thought it was. Okay, I think for my own benefit, I should retreat for the moment. Get out of here. Looks like I seem to have enraged some kind of skeleton army over here. Just gonna thin their numbers a little bit. Oof, oof, oof. Oh, I lost my bubble there. Don't like that. Ah, I missed. Uh-oh, is that a troll? It seems like a troll knocking down trees. There's a lot of enemies around here. Okay. I think I'm alright now. I just feel anytime I see those 2-star archers or Draugr, I feel very, very wary and cautious. Oh gosh. I think I'm alright now though. So, I needed to come out here because I have too much loot. So, we gotta figure out how do we get from... What's the fastest way to get this spot to the carve? I guess I can bring the carve, or the tune rather. I can bring it over to that spot over there where the water is. That'll be the easiest way to get the loot. So I guess for now, I can just come over to this copper deposit and just toss everything I find here. So I didn't fully prepare, so we're doing it the, let's call it the improvised way. There we go. Nice. I forgot how much it's cool. It feels genuinely rewarding to go into the burial chamber because I've gotten used to the, like when I'm raiding the goblin camps, I get a lot of building resources, but then I use them up really fast and I don't have that much wealth, like material coin wealth. So I've already gotten like way more than doing a couple goblin camps, which is an interesting accidental thing that I'm gonna roll with. I like that. I want to figure out, is this branch fully looted? I think we got most of it, right? I feel like there's part over here. Oh hey, a box of silver arrows. That's so lucky. I was just thinking how I didn't bring silver arrows. That's the one thing that like clears any situation in the burial chambers. And then Palm blesses me. Look at that. Alright, what's going on here though? I feel wary now. Alright, so we didn't even clear the whole area. It's not just that we didn't loot it, we also did not clear the entire thing. But that's okay. I got all this coal. I guess I don't really need to take coal, so I'll just chill out with that. Do get loads of it after all. And I think in a certain sense, it's impossible to completely prevent the player from leaving items behind. And I've noticed that my feelings on things... Ah, I remember this spot now. my feelings on things have changed a little bit. Because before I used to want to prevent all that, but now I see that it's not so much that like it's horrible to leave items behind. It's more like what kind of items are left behind. And if there's supposed to be things that give value or incentivize, then it's a problem if they're getting left behind, right? So something like coal, for example, in this new updated perspective, it's not a problem because coal isn't like something used as a reward in the game. I guess the conveyor foreman sort of uses coal as a reward because if you use the conveyor belts and you have a conveyor foreman, you can get 100 coal for 1 wood, which makes coal like not a thing you have to worry about. And that was done as a way to incentivize the player more to use the mechanic. And I think that worked out pretty well. At least I saw that there's a new player recently, and they made a conveyor foreman and stuff and figured it out without being told, which is good. Generally, like, I try and follow a theme where the game teaches you how to play it, even if you don't know. The problem is I didn't start with that mentality. So some of the older features, like, you have to know about them, if that makes sense. 1 second. There we go. Alright, I'm back. My headset died, I was just getting the other one. Alright, so which part was I at here? I think this is just one branch of the dungeon, right? And then there's more of it. I just need to get back to the original branch. I love these big dungeons, like genuinely. I still haven't gotten tired of doing burial chambers, which is really cool. And it shows that, like, honestly, Iron Gate did a really good job with the dungeons. I see that now, that, like, the problem was definitely not that the dungeons aren't cool or interesting. It really is just it boils down to mechanics, and there's just not reason, really, in Valheim normally to, like, you get Surdling cores, and once you get them, like, I mean, you really don't need more of them in most situations. So people tend to just do a couple of these and then they leave them by, and then also that they tend to generate kind of smaller. So it's almost like it is an incredible, awesome dungeon. I really like the burial chambers. I have a thing for skeleton dungeons. Maybe I'm like old school in that way, but in general, yeah, I think they did a great job. But it's interesting how I wasn't able to really feel and appreciate the dungeons in a genuine way until playing like this modified version of Valheim that makes things more long-lasting. So yeah, I guess that's something though that is true about old games, right? Like when the developers originally make something, they have to like actually bring it into existence, so to speak, which is a lot harder to do because you don't have something you can just play and like change so simply with like scripting and all that stuff. You have to actually like integrate the mechanics and pay resources and time or money to develop things. Whereas if you're just like modding or like doing vanilla modding like I do, POM is a vanilla modded server with Expand World prefabs. So like you don't add any new models or anything like that. You only work with what already exists within the game. And that allows you to be more it's like things are more reliable because you're not adding new assets to the game. So you make there's a lower chance that when like an update comes out, it's gonna break because you don't have some reference to something, which is pretty common when there's like a big update. But for the most part, EWP scripts don't really break unless like releases a completely new feature that's like so good it like replaces the old one. And then maybe that old thing might become problematic or something, but for the most part, it's really reliable. Like, I mean, I'd live develop on Path of Magic. Like, think about that. And it's all EWP scripting, and I script and develop things and add them to a server that people are actively like playing on. I'm not saying there's always a bunch of people playing, but there's people who log in every day and play, and it's been like that for a while, right? So that's how reliable EWP is. It's really something. If you ever want to practice game development and like you just don't really know how to, that's a situation I was in. Like I wasn't a programmer. I couldn't code that well, and I couldn't get to the point where I felt like, oh, I have a game I'm working on. I can try and make it better. I can work on this part, and what if it did this? Does that make sense? Like imagine you have a piece of paper and a pencil. No matter who you are, you can like draw a little circle on that piece of paper, and then you can go, okay, this is the circle I'm working on, right? Doesn't matter if you're good at whatever, you can do that. And then you could like add little squiggles around the circle and be like, now I'm adding little squiggles around the circle, right? There's something there that you're adding to, right? That's the thing I'm trying to explain. The thing that for me was missing in my life, and I was less happy as a result. But once that was no longer missing, then life became much more satisfying. And it's that feeling. It's just as if there's a plant that you're taking care of and you see it grow. Like what most people think the reward is about is the fruit, about getting something from the plant. But that's really, for the most part, something that people who don't garden think. People who truly just garden and care for plants are maybe started that way, but you come to see that the plants themselves have a lot to teach you, and you're the one who doesn't know things. And like, you don't need to look at screens and read things by other people to learn from the world around you. And the plants that you're around and growing them and caring for them and all these things. All of this is something you can observe, and they can teach you lessons about life and how to live. And like, these are things that we blind ourselves to, and we suffer for it. Like, we truly do. Like, if I boil my life down to the things that I spent money on that were truly, absolutely worth it, there's a couple of things that come to mind. One of them is over the past maybe like 4 years or so. Over the past 4 years or so here, I've spent money like buying different kinds of plants and pots and like doing that kind of thing. And maybe I spent like $1,000 on plants. And I haven't had to buy any plants or do anything recently in the past like maybe 6 months or so, and there's endless plant tasks because I invested in having things around me that now, because of what I did in the past, I got too into what I was talking about. Because of what I did in the past, I got to a point with the plants and things where the environment itself doesn't distract me with unhealthy things. Does that make sense? So I'm a distractible person, so to speak, but I don't identify as like, oh, I am this because of some condition or something. I think it's just what happens when you live in our modern age and you consume media and watch YouTube and pay attention to people and culture. You become very scatterbrained as a result of this. You become very distracted from the current moment, and that has nothing to do with like you as a person, so to speak. It's a literal consequence of when you engage in a lot of stimulation and a lot of activity of the mind. It produces that sensation, that stress, that rushing, that feeling that something's wrong, etc. It really just boils down to that people are in too much of a rush. So They don't really have time to enjoy the things that they get. And that has been true for so long in their lives that they're in this state of almost constant degrees of burnout. And it makes it very hard because you can't just, like, when you're in that situation, even if you're aware that you're really busy and you need to, like, just appreciate the current moment more and do these things, it's not as simple as just doing that, because even when you do that, you're then going to feel all of the burnout and time that you've been neglecting yourself sort of on top of the present moment. So it's easy to think that, oh, the present moment isn't a beautiful, glorious, happy thing. And that's true for most people, but that's only because they've spent so little time in the moment that they've become convinced that something else is that moment. That their racing mind, it's tricked them into thinking that, you know, this is life, this anxiety, this fear, this feeling, this is what's normal, this is what sobriety, so to speak, is. I hear a lot of people speak that way. But it's just not true. It's fundamentally not true. It's at the end of the day, the human is a creature. Then when it's not just humans either. It's most creatures. When they're not running away from something that's trying to kill them, they're at peace. And we separate ourselves and act like we're not like that, but we are. We just live in a way that we behave in the way we do, but that's not because of our human nature. That's because of our caged nature. You can observe the same thing. That's something I learned from chickens. Like, I know it sounds absurd, but I've learned a lot about human behavior from taking care of chickens. I have 5 chickens, and I've learned that everything I ever heard about chickens or roosters or eggs is wrong. And that there's actually huge quantities of chicken propaganda. Like, I know that sounds absurd, but it's real. Like, there's this big industry of making chickens be a thing that people don't have and businesses have, and that, like, you need to buy certain kinds of food, otherwise you're gonna hurt the chicken and they're not gonna lay eggs, and you have to, like, pump them up with hormones or whatever. There's all this, like, nonsense. And then when you start actually caring for them, or you start spending time with, like, around people and cultures where there's chickens in rural areas, you start realizing, like, wow, we're literally just... Chickens are these incredible creatures that if you care for them, not only do they provide you with eggs, which are arguably one of the most nutritious substances for a human to eat, giving you many of the things that you take supplements for, like the things you buy that you think you can only get from vitamins and pills and these things. You literally, like, can get those from natural food sources that are very rich in that kind of substance, like eggs, for example. Certain kinds of other foods, like, are quite high in nutrients as well. But there's also this huge industry, like, against meat while we simultaneously make a bunch of meat. It's like, what kind of nonsensical, dysfunctional land do we live in? It's like on one hand, it's really popular to hate meat, and there's a lot of, like, anti-meat content out there. But then if you look into, like, the alternatives and stuff, it's like, shit, it's just like remaking meat with vegetable oil. Which is like, wait a second, vegetable oil is nasty shit. Why are we using it to make something? Like, it's like, it completely ruins the point of doing something healthily. And it's like, for me, I don't know about you, maybe I've just been jaded, but I've had the experience of looking for help and then being betrayed unknowingly by people I care about, because they truly want to help. They think they know what they can do that's useful, but what they can do that's useful is a literal piece of marketing propaganda that was put there so that somebody could make money off of it, you know what I mean? And it's like, it's brutal how often that happens. And for me, I've just gotten completely fed up with that part of the the way things are. That's why I was able to just leave and go live in a different country. Like, just, I was like, you know what? Maybe it's not so bad in these other places that I've been told are like absolute shitholes. And like, you know, it's interesting too, is when I came to Nicaragua the first time, I was warned by a lot of the U.S. culture adults in my life, so to speak, or other people. Not in my own family, actually. My own family members are quite open-minded. But I was warned by other people. And you know what I was warned about? I was warned about diseases, okay? And I was warned about inflation, right? And all of these things. Because at the time, most people I knew hadn't really, I'm gonna die, hadn't really experienced those kind of situations. Because I lived in the US like 6 years ago, right? So, so pretty much they were like, oh, all these horrible things are gonna happen to you if you go there. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I just went anyway. And then what I saw just in 2 weeks of being in Nicaragua, it didn't shatter all of my reality, but it shattered enough of my reality that I was like, fuck that place. Like, why am I spending... I realized that the reason people feel that the only good life is in the developed world is because we have to justify the fact that it's so expensive. So we fundamentally make ourselves believe that we have something other people can't have or don't have. But then when you start actually like going other places and you're like, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. If I just want to use the internet and have a garden with plants, and all I really care about is being able to be good to people and stay at home and go out to get groceries and play games on the computer and be in the garden. Here, in this supposedly dictatorial, completely screwed, you know, blah, 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 all the news on Nicaragua is always horrible, 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 horrible in English in the West. I'm completely free to do so here. I can have chickens. I live in the city. Doesn't matter. There's trees in the city here. You can live without a car. You can get anything delivered to you by someone on a motorcycle for $2. And then you can pay them like double that, and like they're appreciative, and it's still cheap for you. Like, it's an awesome, incredibly convenient life that is so much better than what was available to me outside of the country. And that's what's so, like, it's so funny to me. Like, I get it now that, like, it really is true, like what they say in the West or the East, how it's what we think that holds us down. And it's all of these things we think about our life, and all of these things that we think, surely it's so much worse everywhere else. Surely, 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 surely it is. But then it often isn't anywhere near as bad as we expect it to be. But it's not always like that for everybody. Welcome, Adept Apollo, welcome. Adept says, you have a point. Growing plants, industrial farming uses more chemicals to kill the bugs, and it pollutes the water. A clean run ranch that uses a lot of rotation can capture carbon. Look up ranches that capture carbon. Oh, my friend, you sound like someone who, have you ever heard the name Geoff Lawton? Oh, permaculture and these things. That's something I, before I got really into this Valheim server, and all this computing stuff, I was really obsessed with permaculture and studying that. And one of the reasons I wanted to, like, now I'm trying to earn money is so that I can actually, like, get into a better situation and have more access to property. But then I found that the little space I already had actually already had enough for me, and that I only thought I needed some space to make some food forest, and that I already have enough access to things to practice. So then I kind of stopped getting obsessed with learning more about permaculture and these kind of things. And like what Jeff Lawton taught or teaches, and what I learned from him, is that basically if you observe plants, you are taught the reality of things. You must observe them. And what we do is we try and dictate to them. We try and control them. And that's what monoculture is. It's this obsession with, so to speak, getting the maximum amount of plant output of one specific type. And in doing so, we harm things. But you know what's so ironic is this Jeff Lawton guy, him and others have proved that companies could actually get even more poundage of fruit and produce out of the land without harming it. It's not actually impossible. The problem is the way we do things is so fundamentally damaging that it becomes harmful. But it's not inherently harmful to have a system and take from it. And most of life is like that. Like if you even think of food waste, for example, like you hear a lot about waste in culture. They'll talk about it, but the reality with waste is that the problem so much isn't that I don't know why I tried to do that. The problem with the waste isn't that we make waste. It's that our waste doesn't get utilized, right? And one of the things you do in permaculture is you take the entirety of the organic waste in your life and you then utilize mechanical agitation, like chickens and other things as well, so that you can have fertilized compost that you don't need to chemically fertilize and make more powerful with things that you purchase. Greening the desert. Yeah, it's awesome stuff, right? It's funny you use that phrase, greening the desert. So, oh, I can tell. Just look up Jeff Lawton, greening the desert. He basically, to prove how powerful this permaculture mentality is, he went to Jordan and made a permaculture site like in the desert. Literally in the desert climate. And it's like a food forest. And it's still pretty young right now. It's a couple years old. And like for a food forest to like fully fledged, once they get to like a decade, they can become like self-sustaining pretty much. It's insane what they can do. If you think of it like a game or a machine, a forest is like this beautiful game that's all balanced so that the waste is something else's fertilizers, so there is no true waste, you know? And like the problem we make is that we try and remove the waste from things. We chastise ourselves to be less wasteful. But ultimately, most of the time, that's just something a company has injected into you so that you don't focus on the waste produced by the products that they produce and make available to the masses, and then act like they're just like, oh, you know, it's not our fault we supplied OxyContin in the tens of millions across citizens all over the country. We have nothing to do with opium. What do you mean? You know, it's like, what the fuck is this reality? Like, it's like the more you pay attention. At first, you're born, and you're just like, all right, cool. There's people, and people say they're doing good things. All right, and then you start being like, wait a second. Are these people lying? And then you can be like, okay, no. I don't want to think about that anymore. That's scary. And so you stop. You get distracted, right? But ultimately, people as they get older, it's harder and harder to distract themselves from that sensation that they're being lied to, you know? Especially when it starts being a situation where, where you got a bunch of stuff going on and you're suffering in your life. And you realize you're suffering because you believed in a lie, right? And that can only happen so many times before you start being like, okay, screw this, I'm done. And apparently I feel that way. I strongly, strongly feel that way. That's why I'm just happy to just spend my time playing Valheim. And it's not like just playing Valheim, like practicing and doing game development, and yeah, it's not like it's my game or anything. But like, I don't care. I get to practice things and other people play them. It's really fun. So Dickot says, are you using Viking NPC? No, actually. This is all EWP, or Expand World Prefabs. It's vanilla modding. You just put some scripts on your server, and then that's all you need to do. Then everybody who plays on the server will experience whatever it is that the script does. It's because you use things that are already in the game. That's why it's called vanilla modding. And as long as you only use things that already exist, then you're going to be fine. Because the client doesn't need to load any extra custom data. And most mods, the problems that they get and the reasons that they break when there's updates or it becomes harder to keep them long term, it's usually because of custom assets. So when you make vanilla style mods, as long as you use the updated versions of EWP, for the most part, the stuff you do lasts a long time. And when you see me interact with things on Path of Magic, it's unique to Path of Magic. And these are scripts I'm happy to share with people. It's not like I like try and keep them to myself or anything. But there's a lot of customizations to the Diverger. And I've been working on a really, really big one recently that I'm very, very excited about. It's actually the biggest patch that I've ever worked on for Path of Magic. And it's the first time I'd say that I like... It's not like I know what I'm doing, but like I'm making a feature. I've play tested it myself a bunch of times over and over again to see how I feel. I really have been setting it up to be an enjoyable process for myself, pretty much. And taking my time. I used to like it's more like when I was developing, I was still developing to try something new and to learn. Whereas now, like, I know exactly what I want to do. I want to tackle certain issues in Valheim with a patch that combines a lot of... To the player, if they look at the patch, it might not really make much sense. Like, they might not understand why I'm putting black metal scraps in the Mistlands, for example. And, like, what's the point of that? Like, and I'm not going to try and explain all of the nuances of it. But pretty much, I'm trying to make these rewards for actually exploring. So you can go look around and find Verger in the wild, and only in the wild. And then they have, like, a special trade. Almost like a one-time quest, so to speak. And if you can get them away and keep them safe for long enough to complete what they want, then you get something powerful in general. I'll show more in next week, actually, because I'll start playtesting it next week. And then in the next development stream, actually this Friday, 2 days from now, I'll do show some of the development of what I'm talking about. Because the NPCs that I've shown on the stream so far in Labrat's playthrough are all kind of older ones. I'll go through them and adjust them, because now I know how to make things more smooth. And for example, the Diverger traders that you see me interact with sometimes, these are all one stack at a time situations. So you usually have to get like a full stack of an item to make the trade. You can learn about the trade with less than that, but to actually do the trade you need a full stack. And I like that. I found that it incentivizes players to feel a bit more interested in acquiring a full stack, which helps like with the gameplay loop a bit. But in the system I'm working on, it doesn't work that way. Instead, they're more like kind of epic amounts of stuff. So in the Mistlands, you can find these NPCs, and if you give them 1,000 black metal scrap, you'll get a flame metal axe. And there's all these tests I'm doing to see what happens. Because pretty much that's how I develop stuff on Palm. I can tell when things work because people like talk about them and have fun, and then like a player will playtest it and like mention it to their friends, and like that's how you know something's good. Like you can feel however you feel. It's like whatever for the most part. But what really shows it is player behavior. That's the thing that really, really does it. So I'm just pulling up over here to this spot. This is where the burial chamber is that we were at earlier. Because I keep tossing all my stuff over the edge here, right? Let's see what time's it. Oh, 5:44. I see. This is the early warning for my internet going out. It gets a bit unstable, and then 6 a.m. comes by, and then boom, big judder. It'll completely stop pretty much. You normal? Yeah, normal skeleton. Alright, I learned my lesson this time. I just gotta keep the bubble block off. Everything's good. And the sword has this incredible reach. It's just, that's what makes it so wonderful. It's just got such a huge hitbox. Uh-oh. Ooh, I gotta run. Hey, silver necklace is nice. Lucky day, lucky day. You know, I don't even remember what mechanic made it so that the monsters outside of the crypt respawn so reliably. Because I didn't intend to make that happen, but then it's one of those things that was happening, and then I was like, well, I like that. I like the epic feel of things, to be honest. One of my favorite RPG experiences was back when I was a kid, and I played Morrowind. And then I remember I had that expansion installed, Fort Frostmouth, I think it's called, something like that. And it's basically just a bunch of skeletons. It's a big fort filled with skeletons. Fort Frostmouth. That's what I remember. And I absolutely loved that as a kid. So I think that experience has always stuck with me because it wasn't even a particularly good dungeon. It was just a dungeon that was very thematically skeleton. And I loved that. I liked skeletons a lot. Which is funny because as an actual child, I was terrified of skeletons. I remember because my science teacher at school somewhere in the world had a skeleton in his I was gonna say in his closet. A skeleton in the classroom. And I would get so scared of that skeleton, I would piss my pants. I'm not even exaggerating. I was terrified of that thing. I hated it. I hated going to that class. I hated seeing it. I hated looking at it. I hated it so much. It's like... It's funny because it makes sense, you know, having a skeleton as a anatomy teacher in a school, like... Or, sorry, not anatomy teacher. It was a science teacher. But still, it's like... It makes sense. It's not so absurd. At least looking back now, I don't think it's an absurd thing. But back then, oof. That was some scary nonsense for me. Very scary nonsense. Alright, so we're gonna take the rest of the loot here. And I was tossing stuff on the ground. But I'm not gonna do that anymore because I don't actually see most of the stuff that I tossed. Oh no, it rolled down the hill, I see. Okay, so it's all down here. Inconveniently placed. Yeah, instead we're just gonna place things inside. And we're gonna do it based on like what we actually want to take here. So there's loads of other things I can get in the base that I don't really want to worry that much about. So we're just gonna take the things that are genuinely useful, that are almost full stacks. There we go. Now we should just be able to run around and grab the rest of the stuff. Yeah, you see, it just... I tossed everything down the hill over here. underestimating how far it would roll, right? Like, you see all this? Oh, it's funny. I know I could get it, but I'm not even gonna bother, to be honest. Maybe I'll, oh no, I know what I can do. I can jump, because I left the area, so I can probably do the auto pickup thing, right? Just gotta find the right spot. Is that a cart? What's that doing there? A Jerry cart. It must have fallen off of the path at some point. That's funny. Hey, I got some more cores though. Yeah, the cores are nice because they're like one of the more profitable things from the burial chamber. Each one of these is 300 coins. So basically each stack of 10 cores is like 300 stone. So this right here is 900 stone. That's a good amount of castle building experience. Not the whole package, but a solid amount, I'd say, for sure. Alright, now where's the rest of those? There's something. That just looks like normal Grey Dwarf stuff, though, yeah. Ah, there we go. That's that cluster of little trees over there. That's where I'm trying to go. Oh, messed up. Hurrah! That was horrible. Worst dive ever. It's, I heard a rumor that if you go where the leaves are, you can stand on it. I don't know how true that is, but it seems to work. Okay, I'm trying to land on those trees. Woo! That was horrible. Didn't get a single one. I gotta be a little bit to the left, okay. There's actually a mod for this exact situation called floating items. And, oh, let's see if I got it. And what's funny about floating items is it sounds very innocent. But we actually had a situation where that mod would make people, when they jump out of a boat, fall through the world. So they would like get out of the boat, go like this, and then just fall forever, pretty much. And it's funny because it seems like such an inconspicuous mod. Like, oh, it just makes items float. That's not anything too intense, really, you know? Nice. Alright. I think that's pretty good for now. And go back up here. And we're lucky because I've been using the quest boat, so I have a rested bonus. If you notice, like, my rested bonus keeps resetting to 8 minutes. That's why. Alright. What else do we actually want to loot? I don't think anything here is super important for now. We're going to use this sort of like a chest. I do need the arrows, though. Alright. Good enough. Usually, I place a cart in the inside, because in Path of Magic, you can summon carts in the inside of dungeons to make them easier to loot. I didn't do that. I didn't do that this time, though, because I want to get as many coins as I can. So I'm not going to reset this dungeon. I'm just going to be here for a little bit. I've noticed that, like, I was used to in vanilla Valheim, you, like, finish the whole dungeon a lot. Whereas what I'm getting used to now in Path of Magic, where the dungeons respawn, is it's not so much about finishing the dungeon as it is about getting enough of what you need. And then you can just kind of leave. And I like that a bit more, because it gives this feeling that there are things to finish, sort of. But you also get what you need more often than like a vanilla dungeon. Just because it seems that, and like, by the way, this is absolutely not a criticism on Iron Gate. When I talk, I'm thinking like, when I make games, this is what I want to do because of experiences I've had in these games. That's the perspective I'm speaking from. So for me personally, I see that it's not very effective in game design to rely on one thing to motivate a player, or even two things. It seems that we actually need to do many, many, many different things to motivate players to do one thing. And in general, the more alternative ways to do something you have that are effectively balanced, the better. And the more playstyles you can accommodate, the better. Obviously, this isn't like a totally hard set rule. But there's been a couple things like this that have been major lessons for me personally, that I didn't learn playing games, but I have learned since I've been running this customized Valheim server. And some of the things that I've noticed is that it's really hard to come up with a good idea. But it's really easy to produce good ideas, if that makes sense. Once you figure out what they really are, and it looks like this is good enough for me for now. I'm gonna start taking the stuff back to the base, and I'll keep talking. But pretty much, if you think you have a good idea, or you think someone else has a good idea, then probably it's just some random thing, and maybe you can make it, maybe it'll work. The way that really works to do things is to just implement something and try it. And then, based on the experience you have, the way you feel while you try it, that is what determines the, so to speak, validity of the idea. That's what I'm trying to get at, is people try and they kind of think like, there's ideas that start being good. Like it's not like that. There's things you implement, and then you can see those lead to good ideas. Like whenever you're developing based on, like, there's a problem and you have an experience and you feel something, and then you're making a mechanic based on that part of your experience, that is solid. It's just gonna feel better to other people. But if you spend a lot of time theorizing about stuff, you end up like trying, like working on things, kind of going against the grain to make something you really care about work, when it might actually not be that relevant to the player at all, or it might be something that the average player will never experience, even if they know like how your server works, because it's so niche or something like that. People seem very willing to work on those kind of things. So for me personally, it's a lot more motivating to work on things that other people have expressed like some kind of interest in. It's not entirely true, because I love, like, once I get a feeling that something is important, then I'm gonna do it even if other people think it's a bad idea, because I truly believe that like there's a chance that other people basically are wrong and they're actually gonna enjoy it. Not saying that always happens, but I'm willing to give things a shot. And I'm much more likely to say how I feel about something after I try it when it's actually implemented, versus how I think about it logically. Because there's a lot of things that sound really good logically, but they don't necessarily play out that way. And that's, I'd say, maybe the biggest lesson for me personally in Path of Magic has been how to stop relying on myself to come up with the things, and instead to just go with the flow of when things feel interesting and when players care and mention something and how I feel. Just go with it, even if it doesn't sound like it makes sense. Because one of the more interesting systems, the empowering system, that's quite popular with players. I mean, players have done the empowering mechanic hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. They've consumed and willingly destroyed their own objects, their own weapons and armor in the game many, many times over and over and over, which from a game dev perspective is like, it's a dream for an item sink where players willingly will destroy their favorite weapon or risk its destruction. And that was an example of an idea that when I talked about it, people didn't really like it, or they thought it was silly or stupid. And then when I talked about what would be done, or what we figured out what would be done, it was the same. Like, doubling the strength of a weapon? Like, that's game-breakingly out of balance, right? Like, it's easy to think that way, especially in Valheim. But on Path of Magic, empowering, like, became an awesome part of the game. Despite those two realities, despite the fact that when I talked about both the consequence and the reward, people thought it was absurd. And I'm not saying everybody did that. I just know, like, I get a vibe from how into a mechanic people, the way they ask questions, the nature of the questions they ask, if they ask any questions, you get a vibe for it, you get a feel for it, right? And so that experience was big for me, because it showed me, like, on one hand, you have to listen to your players' experiences and your own experiences. But on the other hand, if you listen too much, you'll miss out on some things that can be shockingly fun and really, like, become a defining part of the experience. So while yes, you need to listen, at the same time, you also have to ignore. And I think that's probably something that's hard for people to balance in general, because we tend to prefer when we can be like, okay, always do this, and if this, then do that, always do that, and if this, do this, always ignore them, never ignore them. You know what I mean? But ultimately, a lot of life isn't like that. A lot of life is inherently contradictory. You're gonna have to do something that at some point you might have to destroy or take apart. Oftentimes creating means, like, accepting that something you create will get destroyed. And if you don't think that's true, then you're just not looking at the time frame of what you're creating. Like, even think about everything you've ever built in Valheim. Like, those files will outlive you, I guess, maybe. Like, technically they could, right? But chances are, like, at some point, that whole world's gonna get deleted or destroyed, or the laptop will stop working, or the hard drive will fail, or, you know, something happens. Or the account stops getting used that is accessing it in the cloud, and then no one uses it anymore. My point is that everything, like, stops eventually. Everything dies, everything crumbles. And you can focus on that part of it and get sad, but it's kind of stupid. Like, because ultimately, like, that's just life, right? And, like, just because something is gonna get destroyed doesn't mean it's not inherently worth creating. It's like there's that phrase about apple trees, I think. Like, if I knew the world was gonna end tomorrow, I'd still plant my apple tree today or something. I don't know, it's very idealistic, but I've heard it before. I guess most phrases are idealistic. Now, actually, it's great, because now I'll get a chance to test this conveyor belt functions, so we can see, is it going to function well with all of this treasure? You know? Let's see. So there's a conveyor foreman down here, and I guess I just want to sell this stuff, so I guess I can just sell it here. I won't sell all of it though. Let's start, like, piling stuff up, and I'm just gonna kind of see what happens, pretty much. I don't know how these things are gonna go. I just used some kind of serpent sonar thing, don't worry about that. Alright, now I have to prevent these from getting sold, so I'm gonna reduce their stack sizes. That way they don't sell. Whereas these ones, oh, I ruined it all. These ones I'm gonna sell. So let's keep, I guess we can keep 20 something of them. Sounds reasonable. And then we'll also keep the rubies for now, so I'll keep them in 10. Yeah, so if I just keep, oh, ah, yeah, it's 10. Okay, okay. So those ones will sell. These ones won't. Nice, okay. Doing all the stuff I can toss here. There we go. Now I can sell the rest of this stuff. Boom. Toss the rest. And now, in theory, I should just be able to, like, run upstairs, basically, after I turn the conveyor on up there. So let's see. Let's see how well this works, because I haven't prettified this yet. Because I'm trying to make sure that mechanically it functions well. Like, you can bring one of the quest boats to the base, then go up. And then while you're up in the base doing your thing, right? While you're doing that, you can have the stuff convey over up into the top, right? That's the idea. So I want to make sure it works well before I commit to, like, making all the stone. But for now, we should be able to get some more stone. Let's see. Say buy prices 1 question mark? Yeah. Stone 450 for 970 coins. Ah, but it's not just that, right? I could also just get copper from goblin camps. Maybe I should save the coins for something. I guess it depends how much stuff we have. How's this base doing stone-wise? 240, huh? Well, looks like my internet hasn't crashed yet, and it's 6:05. So I'm gonna see if we can get away with fighting some goblins. But before I'm an absolute fool, and I truck myself. Oh, no, 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 I never set a new spawn, so I don't have to worry. I thought I had to set the spawn so that I don't lose it, but this is the spawn. This is where I was. Get my new rested buff. Sip my tea. Nice. All right, now I'll consider all of that skeletoning. It was warm up. Now I get to actually fight here. So what do I want to do? Do I want to eat? I'll eat the same foods. That's fine. Got my useless silver arrows. I'd say I'm ready to go. Should bring a cart. Maybe there's one out here. There's usually a cart over here somewhere. Ah, I remember. There it is. Alright, what's in here? A bunch of nonsense. Well, maybe that's good. Let's see how this idea did. If this works, then behind this door there should be our treasures from earlier. Hey, look at that. We got a couple things here. Not everything though. Like, for example, where are the surtling cores, I wonder? Oh, maybe because they trigger the fullback message? No, that wouldn't make sense. I guess I'll have to go check, huh? See in a moment. For now though, let's just build another awkwardly out of place fence. Or awkwardly out of place chest. I'll stop getting in my own way though here. Because earlier I placed a workbench in an absurdly inconvenient place. It'll be a little bit more convenient this time, but not too convenient. We don't want anything too fancy here. For now, I just want to clear up the chest, so I'm going to be very messy. I apologize to all those organizers amongst you. It's going to be painful to watch, but I trust that it'll be alright. At some point I'll show, I want to share like all the scripts on Palm. Right now I just like, if someone asks me for one, I share it. But I've been sort of waiting because some of them are, yeah, like it's better to share a script after I've play tested it and people have, like players have been exposed to it and tried it out for a bit. It's often a lot harder for a player to use a mechanic that was introduced by somebody than it is for the person who made the script, right? Which should be, I mean, obviously, right? It makes sense. But that's something I've noticed. Yeah, I always want to like, oh, I just finished it, now I want to share it. But really, I should play with it, have some other players play with it, edit it a bit until it dries. Yeah, it's almost like it's wet at first and you're adjusting things and changing them a little bit. Adjusting the values, getting them right, getting the numbers to do what you want them to do. And then it gets to a certain point and you're like, yeah. Alright, now this works. Oh, I see. So it was actually working. I was just being impatient. Is that right? I mean, that looks like some Surdling cores. Yeah, it looks like it was working. I was just being impatient. There's the rest of our stuff here. Looks like some cores are missing. Pretty cool though. You get the basic premise of it. So I'm gonna make like a castle element that hides the belt. But I'll probably playtest it some more to make sure it works just the way I want it to. Honestly, I've been so obsessed with with the Wandering Diverger patch that I just haven't I haven't been thinking about anything else. So like I actually woke up at like 12. I went to bed early and then woke up at 12 so I could work on the thing. And then I worked on that for a bit. And then I realized I was like, oh, it's time to stream on LabRat. I gotta play normally for a bit. And personally, that's something I really, really recommend. A lot of people, once they get into developing, they forget about playing normally, and it's not like a horrible thing. It depends on what you're trying to do, because like there's some people like with Takar, for example, he's pretty out of touch from the normal player thing, but it doesn't really matter because the things he does aren't like intended for like brand new players who don't know anything about things. So like it's irrelevant, right? So it really depends on what kind of stuff you want to work on and what you're doing. If that makes sense. But I find that in general, as people develop, they become very forgetful about what other players experience, myself included. So the way I try and work around that is by making sure that like I do actually play the game. That seems to help me personally, because as I was mentioning before, I tend to make things that are like in response to something the game does or something happening in the game. And the best ideas, in my experience, have come from like playing and having experiences and seeing how they feel. So that's why, for me, it's quite important to like play normally sometimes. But it's like genuinely challenging, and I see why, because if I didn't have the server to play on, yeah, I just wouldn't really want to play normally, you know what I mean? And sometimes it's good to like do things a completely different way. So it's definitely not a bad thing. But it does seem that most of the time, and it's not just with the like people who make scripts. I'm talking about like a game development thing. People who get into game design or game development, they naturally get a bit detached from the average player's experience. It's not something that like happens to some people. It's kind of like gravity or something. It is almost a fundamental part of what happens when humans design games. I was wondering where that shaman went. It must have chucked a fireball like all the way off over there and then teleported there. It was too far away. Alright. So look at this. I've gotten absolutely nothing from this. 2 empty carts and an empty inventory. Not a single drop. That must be confusing for people. I've gotten very used to it. And people are like, where'd my drops go? I killed something. And I heard a goblin laugh. And I didn't get anything. What's wrong? Like for me, for some reason, this is another example of how I'm a bit detached from average players, right? Because for me, it feels like very clear that like the goblin's laughing and it's implying that they're stealing the loot and it's a joke, right? But what's funny is players seem to have 2 different interpretations of it. There's, on one hand, like, it's confusing. Why is this here? That's a common one, right? And that's totally fine. I'm not saying that's wrong at all. It makes sense. But then on the other hand, they go more extremely, and then they're like, the goblins are taking the loot. Where are they taking it to? Does that mean somewhere on the server all of our loot is over there? And I'm just like, whoa. No, that's an idea. What if they piled it up somewhere, you know what I mean? But it just goes to show how, like, that's why playtesting is so fundamentally important. Because, like, you're going to think players will do one thing, but they do many different things. And, like, certain kinds of players, yeah, they'll do that same one thing. But then you have another subset of players or another kind of players, and they just like throw the book out the window and start doing something else, you know? It's like, it's really funny. Oh, I got him. Okay. Whew. Can I get some black metal scrap now? Hey, finally. I feel like I killed all these goblins. It got like nothing. Awesome. That's right, you have to actually kill them inside the camp to get the better stuff. This camp spawned pretty small this time though. Let's see, can we grab one of their attention? I don't wanna clock a hit from the 2-star, but I could take a spear from this 1-star. Or from this no star actually. Ah. You can do it. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Hit me before the red guy does. Come on. Ooh. That's how you dodge. Oh, okay. It's funny. I actually don't purposefully try and dodge in Valheim. I just dodge accidentally by freaking out sometimes. But I actually find I exclusively shift to move around and get out of the way of the hitbox. And I like don't... I have some weird fundamental distaste of invincibility frames. I know they're a big part of games, and I know probably they're necessary, but for me it's just so jarring the way it looks. It's like, oh yeah, if you just roll randomly in the middle of combat, like opening yourself up completely, you can become invincible for a second. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, it's nonsense. It's like ridiculous. At least from my perspective, it's just absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, that's just my POV. Obviously, other people seem to. I mean, they love that part of games. I guess, is that something that Dark Souls popularized? I know it couldn't have even been Dark Souls. Maybe Dark Souls popularized it, but that was a normal thing, wasn't it? Uh-oh, is he gonna kill me? I don't know. How do I feel? Do I try? I guess I can let him hit me. We'll see. We'll see. Did Dark Souls popularize dodge rolling? Or, yeah, as expected outcome. Or was it, I feel like it was already a thing in other games, because I played a lot of The Witcher 2, Assassin of Kings, or whatever it was called. And it was funny because I played the second game because I heard about the third game, and I knew it was coming out, and I really wanted to, like, be prepared, so I played a lot of the second game. And I ended up loving the second game and playing it so much that when the third game came out, I just didn't really care about it. Which is really funny, because I also played the first one and loved it. So I love the first two Witcher games, and then the one comes out that everyone is obsessed with, and I'm just like, well, I played the first two and they were incredible, and now it's just an open world game, which is beautiful. But I've already had very, let's say, maybe too many open world experiences. I'm open world burned out. I like some limitations, apparently, which I also didn't know was a thing, but apparently I don't want all the options. Interesting. Alright, let's get rested here. Now that goblin camp was real tiny. Real tiny. So tiny, I don't think we even need a cart to loot it. That's how tiny it is. What's going on here? Oh, I didn't want to actually loot that. Whatever. I guess I got my stuff back. Yeah, I died there off stream earlier when I was building the wall. Maybe that was on stream? I don't remember. I've learned that the streams I think are better if I do stuff in between each stream. Which maybe sounds obvious to people, but I had this notion when I started that it's important that, like, the whole thing is shown, but it's not. I don't think so. What matters is, like, if it's interesting, and people sort of like seeing how things progress over time, so they'll, like, see a little bit and then look at a little bit of a later stream. So if you're building something and they can see that kind of progression over time, that's cool. But, oh no! No, this is the worst one! Oh, I hate these ones. Not the Loxen. Yeah, so I got one of the goblin events. When you clear a goblin camp on Path of Magic, you get events. And those events vary. I'm so about to get wrecked. I hate the Loxes are so tough, to be honest. They're just huge and enormous. Give me a bubble block, please. Bubble block. Bubble block. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh gosh, what a mess. I gotta get out of here. Get me out of here. Oh no, a Lox with a shield? No, that's not right. I don't like that at all. This is horrible. I don't know how to survive. Don't let go of block. That's the thing. Definitely don't want to let go of block. Interesting that they became player Avengers. So these Locks are basically never gonna stop chasing me because they have Hunt on, and they're huge and they're fast. It's basically like a lawnmower. How am I gonna get away from them? Oh, and a mosquito. Oh my gosh. Leave me alone. Leave me alone, tough mosquito. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Oh no. Oh gosh. Okay. Maybe with the oh man, they're so fast. They're just so fast. It's insane. Stop it. The mosquito. I'm screwed. Oh no, they broke the tree that was restraining me. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna run. Run to the Black Forest. Run. Maybe they'll get distracted by that troll. I've never been so happy to see a troll before. No. I turned around fully expecting them to not be near me, and they are definitely right next to me still. Dang, I see. Hunt monsters are pretty hardcore, huh? Like, these are some really dedicated Loxen. I haven't even gotten a chance to shoot one of them yet. Hey, is this... I think I can go in here. I think it's invincible. Yeah. Yeah, what you gonna do now? There we go. Yeah, and they'll just chill. They'll chill out there. I should be safe here. These are the plots of land that kind of help suggest spots where players can build things. What is that? Oh, that's the base? Oh, that's funny. It's cool to see it from all the way over here. What happened to the other locks? Oh, alright. Okay, I see. They're all right there, all at the same time. Alright. Alright, this is not what I expected would happen. But I guess that's the point of playing on Palm. I would have rather any of the other events. Oh! Oh! He outsmarted me. Oh, they worked together. They coordinated. No. Alright, 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 alright. Alright, Mr. Loxon. Ah! Whoa! Jeez! That's impressive. Wow. I'm impressed, honestly. Those Loxes just floored me. Like, they they teamed up and just wrecked me. They outsmarted me. I thought I could escape from them. I thought I'd had a winning strategy. But then now what happens? Do they come get me because I'm within, like, loaded distance? Or are they just gonna stay over? They better stay over there. I swear, if those locks start swimming over here, I'm gonna have to run away. Oof. Gnarly. Well, it looks like I'm kind of safe. I don't see anything too crazy over there. I do see the locks. It looks like he's trying to get somewhere. Which is hopefully not where I am, but that looks suspicious. Honestly, he looks very suspicious. Suspiciously like he's coming this way. I don't like... Oh, God. Alright. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Don't like that one bit. Not even a little bit. Where'd he go? Oh, God. Oh, he is here! No! Stop that! That's horrible! No! You're making me go back into the same situation I just got out of. You devils. Yeah, that's right. Stay there. No! Destroying my castle. This is what I get for talking about how walls only feel real if they actually protect you from something. Hey, what is this, like a Lox raid? Alright. What, and you can't get me over here? Ooh, oh, and there's a bunch. Okay, this is too much for me. I'm gonna go over here. They're gonna chase, oh no, now he's here? Wow. This has been quite the adventure. Oh no, that looks so bad. Now they're stuck up there. What the hell? Oh gosh. I'm gonna just sail away. Here we go. It's okay. I can just sail through here. Maybe they'll try and chase me. And the quest boat will save the day. I think the quest boat will save the day. This boat is pretty hard to kill. Pretty hard to kill. And I'm mostly trying to, oh no, they're trying to flatten. Look at all those monsters. There's so many of them. Yeah, you can come this way. Come on, mister. Ow. It's okay. Stop that. Go away. Go away. Stop that. Oh, wait a second. It's a Lox motor. I didn't even know that was a thing. Oh, oh, wait, whoa! I just completely forgot that there were multiple locks there. Ah! Huh. I wonder if that's gonna have consequences. Interesting. I've never seen that happen before, to be honest. I've seen that happen in plenty of other games, but normally not in Valheim. I don't think that means that my tombstone's going to be all over the place, but it does mean that I have mere moments before these locks are all up on me. And I think they already killed the conveyor foreman from earlier. That definitely would be the outcome I would expect. I hear some munching, some crunching noises. Alright. What happened to this? What's going on here? What's he doing? He's up to no good. Alright, how do I do this? I need arrows. It's so much harder when they know where you are. Like, I know that makes sense, but I see how powerful that one... It's like just one number. Hunt, comma, 1 somewhere. Oh, wait. Wait, what's hurting the Tribunal Elder? Oh, a bunch of trolls, huh? And, oh, a whole pack of trolls. I don't know what that's about, but I think that pack of trolls over there, you're gonna help me out. Can I survive one Lox hit? I hope so. Toss a rock at me. Just one? Oh, is it night? What's going on here? Oh gosh. Oh gosh, he's gonna get me with a fireball. Ah! Full damage? Wow, what on earth is this? Oh, this Lox is just running around. Oh, that Lox is on the wrong side of that wall. Come on, buddy. Over here. Oh, I see. Jeez. Look at that. Well, I guess I need to redo that. Are you recommending I redo the decor? It does seem to be so. Oh, he's behind me. All right. I'm just gonna run through this door here. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. All right. Oh no. No, the Diverger! No, they killed him. They killed him. I have. What even happened to? Yeah, my arrows are over where I died in the Black Forest. Nice. Dang, hunt mode is hardcore. I learned a lesson today. Hunt mode is intense. Holy moly. Alright, I have a new plan. A much better plan than what I've currently been doing here. You guys, I'm just gonna... yeah, those are the chests from earlier, those highly organized chests. Hey, how did you miss that bite? That didn't look like it should have missed me. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't make the jump! I'm dead. Wait, how did I not die? How are they missing me? What? Okay. I should have died earlier than that. Some guck? How did I get guck? Poison arrows. I'm gonna use that guck. No, it's ooze, isn't it? Alright. I see. I gotta actually remove these Lox in from the inside of this base, otherwise the fact that they have hunt is gonna wreck me. It's like a perma raid. Interesting. Hey, calm down! Mr. Lox! Calm down. Holy moly. Alright, I have fire arrows. That's good enough. Good enough. I'm just gonna use these, and I'm gonna run and try and get away from them. And hope for the best. I'm gonna have some damage to repair. But that's okay. That's okay. It's okay. Everything's okay. Everything is totally okay. Everything's perfectly fine. I probably... Too bad I didn't have a Builder's Bell. I don't know if the Builder's Bell works on hunt mode enemies, but would have been better odds than what I'm doing now. Oh, and there's more Lox out there. Wasn't this like a Lox invasion? What is this? No, I'm trying to... There we go. Alright, I'm just trying to get that... Ah, no, I wasn't trying to get the bubble block. I remember. I was trying to get the shield thing. There we go. The speed buff. That's what I need. Speed buff. Yeah, from the tower shield. Okay. So now... Okay. Now I got the arrows. And we need to kill these locks. Because they've been putting up a huge fuss. Absolutely huge fuss. And they're so fucking fast. If locks are so fast, why? Why can't they be this fast when we mount them? That would be great. I should think about that. Maybe I can just make... Oh no, it's based on the player's ride skill, isn't it? Whoa! Big pack of goblins. What did I just back up into? What did I just do? What? Is that like a whole goblin camp? Oh my gosh. I have a new strategy. I have a better strategy that's more respectful of my own time. I'm just gonna run as far away as I can and die. So I die somewhere where I'm out of the loaded zone. So I have a tiny bit of time here before that happens. Let's take some food. Let's go down here and we'll get their attention. Just gonna use some, here, I have a strategy for this mayhem. Yeah, I like how I get like, it gives me like a moment. It's like, oh, you think you're at peace? Oh, those Loxton. They remember what you did. They remember. They have the memory of an elephant. Alright, I guess that's it. Whoa, they have seriously broken in. Alright, so here we go. If I remember right, hunt mode will chase the player. And they always know where the player is, but the player does have to be in that loaded zone. So if I just go far enough away from everything, I should be fine. Dang, you know what? Now that I think about it, what if a serpent had hunt mode? Holy crap. They're so intense, right? Like, these locks are terrifying. I don't even know what makes them so fast. Are Loxon normally just pretty fast? They're incredibly fast. I made some kind of speed typo. I don't know what I did. I did something wrong though. And look, I'm just gonna run as far away as I can without dying. I'm gonna die soon though. I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it in my blood. Gotta take refuge in this goblin tower. Keep me safe, little green guys. We're gonna take refuge here. Uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh, little green guy. Wait, wait. No, no, no. Gotta run. What is this? Oh, you're getting ganked by a blob, huh? Interesting. Okay. Well, this was not the... I thought I was gonna die, but it... Ah, there's a tar pit here. The locks don't do very well in tar pits, do they? Apparently not. Well, alright. I guess that's one way to do it. I seem to have survived. Which was definitely not what I expected. Let's see though, because I died, I like backed up into a goblin camp or something. Judging by the sheer quantity of goblins that I aggroed earlier. So let's try and see. Where did I die? It must have been over here somewhere. It's suspiciously quiet. I wasn't that far, huh? I think I was further up here. Yeah, there we go. Ah, it's so good to see a normal Loxon. Holy, ooh, whoa, 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 okay, okay, okay. I should have expected that. Yeah, I bet everybody in you who knows Valheim was like, running through the plains? No death skeeto attack? What a fool. There we go. Gotta play your baseball when you're in the plains. Oh, okay. So what is that? Just some pack of goblins? Some 2-star pack of nonsense? I didn't even run into a camp. They were just there. Alright. I guess, I gotta be a little stealthy. I just need to get my arrows. Oh, fuck it. Just gonna run. Thank you! They're so fast. Calm down, Mr. Goblin. Calm down. That body didn't even have any arrows. Are you for real? Oh. Oh my goodness. No good for me. No good for me. Alright, alright. Where? I gotta wait for the shaman to teleport. And then... Ah, there we go. Okay, and then I have to go attack where he lands. Right here. Uh-oh. Oof. Oh, I got a barrier. Alright, I got lucky. Okay. Now I need to wait for the second shaman. Alright, come on, Mr. Shaman. There we go. He's gonna teleport. At some point. Oh god. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Come on, you can teleport. You can do it. Ah, there we go. That one's gonna teleport. Oh, I missed. Oh. Ah, okay, got him, got him, got him. Oof, oof, brutal. Oof. I got the night spawns. They're just like, alright, bye. It's gonna run away. Ooh, I lost my bubble. No good, no good, no good. Okay. Alright, alright, alright. Alright, Mr. Tribunal Elder. Alrighty. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ooh, that was close. They seem to have thinned their numbers. I guess 'cause it became daytime. Yeah, there we go. Now you're gonna teleport right here. Right? No? No, you're done. Ah, I see. Okay, it's because they're all night spawn goblin, I guess. Oh! Wait, does that mean I ended the situation at the base? Or that looks suspicious. I hear some oh, that sounds suspicious. I hear a lot of suspicious noises. I think we're doing pretty good though. I feel good about these odds. The Loxen were smart to attack while the castle was still unfinished. They're a lot more intelligent than I realized. I mean, this Lox even knows which side of the wall is the one to be on. And he's on the right side of the wall. I'm on the wrong side of the wall, but he gets it. You see, he gets it. He really gets it. Man, you know, I'm gonna have to fix all that. You know that, right? I don't even have a hammer to take apart. How did you even get there, Mr. Lox? Wait, no, no, nah. Over here? Huh. Lox Pelt? How did this Lox die? What possibly could have killed such a powerful creature? What a mess. What a mess. Let's see. I just accepted that that Lox is going to be a problem. Ah, yes, that's the one that has my arrows. There we go. No? Still no arrows. Really? Oh, I don't know what I did with them. Died somewhere I don't even recognize. Alright, Mr. Empowered. That's just how I feel about that. No more. No more. Yeah, that's right. Give us some treasure. Dang, they give a lot of money. I finally started getting a sense for how much coins you get on Palm. Ugh, what a mess. Oh, I know what I can do. Here we go, I have an idea now. I just need... I've been ignoring that locks, not because I want to ignore it, more because I don't know how to deal with it. But now, I know what to do. Make a whole bunch of nonsense here. I want this corpse run buff. So then, there we go. Now, he can come over here. Hey, don't do that. No, you don't need to disassemble everything. It's not necessary. Oh, I didn't get a bubble? Of course I didn't get a bubble. Why not? I don't know. Classic. Classic, classic, classic. I'm actually not sure why that didn't happen. Was I underneath of something that would have gotten in the way? Possibly. That could have been why. This final locks though, oof. He's really giving me a hard time. You know, the other day I was like, maybe, oh, that's why I couldn't find the fire arrows. I put them in that barrel for some reason. I see. All right, well now I'm good. Now I'm good. Yeah, we're gonna stay where it's nice and safe up here. Yeah, we see ya. I see ya, Mr. Loxon. They burn so bright. So it's funny, we actually started, originally, the fire arrows were explosive and they hurt build pieces and like vegetation. But they were so incredibly destructive that I turned it off. Which is funny too because I genuinely found it to be very fun. How did that happen? Did a shaman shoot a fireball up here? Must have. Oof. 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 The Loxes recommend relocation. Player Avenger. Sheesh, you ain't kidding. Jeez. Not even Player Avenger. Avenger of whatever it is that I killed as the player. Finally, this is the Lox that met its maker. Oh no, now I'm gonna die. Classic. Oh. Oh no, is fire damage a percentage of available health? Damn, I didn't know that. Interesting. Oh, finally. Wow, I've never been so satisfied to down a single Lox. Look at this. Wrecked this whole place. I love how the building gets worn though. You see, these are the kind of experiences that I need to have in order to fundamentally feel like the walls are actually defending from something. Right? Because now the Loxen got in, but they still had to break their way in. Like they broke in through that like other gap on the other side, pretty much. So that's cool. That makes it feel like, oh, I got the walls up in the right places. They didn't just walk over, right? But now, of course, I mean, I got a whole bunch of nonsense to fix. Look at this mess. It's alright, though. Got more resources. We can get more stone. And I'll just keep working on building stuff. Alright, everybody. That's it for this playthrough. Or, not this playthrough. This live stream session. I'm excited for Friday's live stream. It will be a development live stream. I know they're less popular, but I have more fun. And I'm really into what I'm developing right now. And pretty much I got everything working. Extrapolated it out, and then even that system worked. So, actually, you know what? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna actually just keep going a little bit, but I'm going to show you what I've been working on. So give me a moment here. I need to restart Valheim with my other profile, so to speak, to be in development mode. Nice. All right, so we're starting up again. And what I'm about to show you, oh, I'm very excited about this. This is the Wandering Diverger patch for Path of Magic. And it is the most expansive patch that I have worked on, and the most purposeful patch that I've worked on. And I got the most important part of it is like this one mechanic, and it needs to be smooth and feel intuitive. And a player needs to be able to find it and just do it, even if they don't know what they just found. It's all about rewarding exploration later on in the game. Starting in the plains a little bit in the dungeons in the swamp and these other places, but mostly in the Mistlands. That's the focus of this Wandering Diverger update. And basically, there's these Diverger that spawn in the wild, and then players come across them. So let's imagine you're just exploring the Mistlands. You're gonna find Diverger bases, right? And normally, there's different Diverger in those bases, and maybe they have different star levels, and they're different types. Maybe there's mages, or maybe there's rogues, right? But aside from that, there's not like a different kind of Diverger, a special Diverger. And that's what I want to change. I want to incentivize players by giving these one-off Diverger that are like, hey, I got a deal for you, and none of my other friends will give you this deal. It's only me. And that way you got to keep them alive, or you got to go find a new one. But if you find a new one, it might be a different deal. Make sense? And here's how it works. This is just debug testing. So this is not currently, so to speak, in the game in Palm. But we'll start with the command, make scrapper, and let's go with the, I guess, crossbow. I gotta turn ghost off. Boom. Okay. So imagine you're running around in the Mistlands, you're exploring, you're doing your thing, yada 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 yada. And then you come across one of these guys. Huh. What are you gonna do? What do you think? Does it make sense? He said, okay, he's obviously something's different there, because there's text. And there's not normally a bunch of text like that. So he has his thing, that's normal. But then there's this, Diverger Scrapper. It says, give me 1,000 black metal scrap for my flame metal crossbow. Okay? And so now let's say that we just happen to have spawn, black metal scrap, black metal scrap. Let's just say we happen to have 1,000 black metal scrap. Basically, in the Mistlands, Seekers drop these more often than they drop Carapace. So if you're curious about the logic, that's why. It's not that you have to bring it from the plains. It's that you literally get it from being in the Mistlands and fighting insects in the Mistlands. They drop these black metal scraps. So then all you have to do is you take the scrap bit by bit to the Diverger. And unlike the other trades, these Diverger remember, right? So I could then like log out and I could go do whatever, come back in when I have more chance to play Valheim, and then keep going where I left off. Or like my buddy could be playing and he could keep working on that and we could do it together, etc., etc. The idea here is to test this mechanic that acts as a way to make finding a Diverger an experience, something interesting. And I was asking myself, what can we do that make the Diverger feel that way, make them feel interesting? And so this is how the mechanic works, basically. And you see that now. We log back in, and it's still the same. This Diverger Scrapper is now asking for 977 more black metal scrap. And so you basically keep going, and keep in mind, like, this is an NPC. It's gonna take you a while to do this. It's not like a fast thing that you can do quickly. And yeah, a good timing, Rico R. That's exact what I was just saying. It is a lot. But that is actually the point. Oh. Yeah, and there's still some things for me to iron out, like see how he didn't update himself there. Oh, I know why. Yeah, okay. It's because I had Ghost on by default. So then it skipped it, right? And it didn't update. There you go. See, now he just needs 918. And basically, you just keep doing this. And obviously, when the player actually does it, they're not just going to have a giant scrap of black metal like this. They're going to find one of these. And that's the reason it has to be big. Because the point isn't to get the player to have a flame metal weapon. I know that seems like, oh, it's a reward. That's the incentive. I'm trying to trick people into having fun. That's my goal. So in this case, for example, on Path of Magic, the Seekers themselves drop black metal scrap. So 1,000 black metal scrap is a lot. It is an absurd amount. It's not something you would get in one setting. But if you really care about that roll that you got, because, I mean, this is a rare thing you find, and he's an offer for a flame metal crossbow. Once the player encounters this mechanic a couple times, they realize, like, oh, there's different items, and the different items have different rates. So it's not like it's all 1,000 scrap, if that makes sense. And it has to be uncomfortably big, because then you get more of the mechanical benefit of the player having to protect the diverger. Because, like, in this case, for example, just give me a moment here. There we go. So in this case, for example, let's say that I were to just keep going here. Let's keep tossing some of these. Let's make it a little bit faster here. I guess I can just do it this way. God's already on, alright. Basically, the player is never going to have a whole bunch of black metal scrap all at once, because black metal scrap is really heavy. So there's a lot of things going on here. This wouldn't really happen unless the player brought something with a cart. But even then, going up terrain and stuff, especially in the Mistlands, it's complicated. It's most likely that they get the black metal scrap from the Mistlands, because in Path of Magic, instead of getting carapace from Seekers and Seeker Soldiers, you get black metal scrap. So black metal scrap is abundant in the Mistlands. And then as you're exploring in some of the Diverger buildings, you'll find occasionally these named NPCs. And you can just keep going, right? But if you try and toss too much, did you notice that? Right? Like, he accepts the one, that's fine. But then what happens if I try and toss a bunch? You see how he's like, calm down, right? That's the kind of little things I've been working on. I've been, like, making it so, like, the guy doesn't steal from you. So for the most part, he remembers everything. And then if you give too much of it, he just, like, changes it so the item goes back into your inventory. So basically he makes it so that the server forgets that you picked up the item, so you pick it up again. You can see how, like, if I do that, right, but then I walk around, nothing's happening. That's because I have a full, I have too much, like, carry weight, right? But if I, like, toss this around, then I should, in theory, pick this one up. Yeah, it looks like that didn't work. That's okay. But yeah, that's what the player would do, basically. So these numbers, right now, what I've found, basically, is that when if you're doing something for, like, a single player game, it might be different. But at least on a server like Path of Magic, it's better that things are a little bit infrequent, and it's better that things are too expensive sometimes. And I'm not saying that these all need to be this expensive, but when I start a feature, I try and keep aware of what end of the spectrum I'm coming from, because the reality is that every time I develop something, I'm gonna need to adjust the chance of things happening multiple times over and over and over again to get it right. It's kind of like I'm gonna need to do the really intense thing and over-tune it, and then I'm gonna need to under-tune it. And then by doing both of those extremes, I will know what the balanced number actually is through playtesting. That's the general mentality I use. A lot of that that way of thinking is prevalent on Path of Magic. So now we can see, actually, I don't remember if I spawned it perfectly accurately. Did I spawn the exact same amount I needed? Because that's what I was testing, basically. I was testing it at scale, and that's why I needed a bigger number as well, because if you want to find like an error rate and figure out like, okay, if he asks for 1,000 scrap and I try and give him 1,000 scrap, but then I need 1,200, well, obviously something's wrong, right? Right, he's eating the scrap. So I was doing a lot of those tests, and if you just do it like, oh yeah, if you do the mechanism with 30 scraps as the cost, then it's gonna work, right? But then you also won't get to see the end result of it. So there you go. That's how he gives you the weapon. I probably will. I'll make some kind of more display, but it looks. I like how it like spawns the thing, and then of course if you get near it, it'll just pick it up. But there you go. And then these are normal weapons, and I think you're right for the most part. Like if you think of the scraps as something to motivate the player to get the weapon, I think it's too expensive. I definitely agree. You're on point there. But the thing is more about testing this concept of these sort of procedurally generated. They're almost like quests, except for things that are, I don't know how to put it, fun. I don't really care about calling it a quest or making it very quest-like and using existing quest archetypes. What I care about is, like, I think Valheim shines a lot when people are incentivized to explore through their sheer curiosity. And when you first start playing the game, it does that very well. Like, you see something and you're like, that's beautiful. I want to go there. I want to see what that is. And it holds up really well. But then, as you play more and more and more, it gets to a point where that you notice the patterns of how everything is formed, and it stops feeling like a mystery. And that has bad consequences for players' feeling of exploration. And so I think that by putting useful and interesting things that are interactive with the Diverger, that can be the sort of missing chunk. Because in general, I found that Iron Gate makes really good assets. They make really, really beautiful stuff. Oftentimes, Valheim just doesn't necessarily mechanically show itself in a way that allows you to appreciate the beautiful things and the great things that Iron Gate has done. So when I develop stuff for Path of Magic, that's sort of what I have in mind. I'm thinking, how can I get players to have this experience of building and exploring, even if they don't identify as a builder? How can I trick them into having more of these sorts of experiences? That's what I generally go for. But it's not just that kind. I'll actually show you a couple other ones. So that's just the bow, but there's actually 31 different kinds of Diverger that you can find, and some of them can give you the flame metal weapons. But that's only like 8 of them or something like that. There's actually a whole bunch of other ones. I'm still working on them, but they all have like a mechanical thing that they do. So some of them offer alternative progression. Like, for example, there's one diverger that if you give 1,000 black metal scraps to, you'll get a majestic carapace. So you could then, like, make the Ashland's boat without killing the queen, you know? And these kind of things, they feel... The trick is that the player thinks it's about the reward, but the reality is it's about the experience of getting and working your way up to that reward, right? And so in this case, this crossbow on palm, this is quite strong, but not ridiculous, because Path of Magic has empowered gear. And so there's other stuff as well. Basically, let's see, I'll actually let me show the data file, because then I can give a better sense of the other kinds of wandering diverger that we're working on. Let's see. Here we go. Alright, so now I have the data file, and this is the whole project, so it's not actually all on the server yet. I've only implemented, like, basically most of the work is getting the first module to work, and then really get it down so you like it and it works well. And then after that, you extrapolate it out. So then it's like, okay, now I'm going to make 31 different versions of what you just saw, basically. So the first ones are all like, okay, this is the one we just saw is this one. The scrap one, basically, right? So these ones all give you some kind of flame metal weapon, and they have a varying cost. So like this cost, for example, is 1,000, whereas this one is 800, and this one is 500. So clearly, like, these are not all balanced. I don't think that it necessarily makes sense that the two-handed sword is 500 scraps, while the bow is 1,000. But basically, I have to, like, pick values, and then playtesting shows what is the better experience. There's no way to look at a number and really know. You have to try and keep in mind what the intention of the mechanic is, and then based on how you feel, you can figure out, like, what the number actually needs to be. And players are always going to want the numbers to be lower, and if you listen to them, it will hurt the quality of the game. So you have to keep that in mind, because it's very tempting to just do what the players say. But even if you do that, they won't ultimately end up happy. So for me, that's the thing I try and motivate myself with, because ultimately, like, I find it hard to not do what someone asks for, and especially if I don't see a good reason not to. But it's important in game development to remember to do that, if that makes sense. And so basically, something that happens when people develop games is just like gravity or water going down a hill. They become detached from the player experience. So what I practice on Path of Magic, it's referred to as live development. So you basically, you don't know your end product. Does that make sense? Like, I know that doesn't make sense for most people, but when you practice live development, your end product is based on what occurs during the development process, and it fundamentally changes based on what people are playing, pretty much. And oh, okay, so Rico asked, wouldn't it be easier to make it yourself? Yeah. Like, definitely. But so here's the thing. I'll show you, actually. Let's go somewhere else. We're gonna go to some Mistlands over here. And let's just, I don't know, for kicks, let's spawn. What should our sample size be? Like, what's a reasonable amount of seekers to kill? I guess, like, let's spawn, like, 20 normal seekers and see how that goes. Seeker, 20. Boom, we got a bunch of seekers, bunch of nonsense. Look at all this. Alright, yeah. All sorts of stuff, right? So now we're gonna kill everything. And now you'll get a sense for what's going on here. So, I'm just gonna kind of go around here, put everything into a chest, and then I'll show you exactly what the amount of scraps that you're seeing. You're gonna think about it from a vanilla Valheim perspective, but this is developed specifically for Path of Magic. It's not like some patch you put on normal Valheim. So you can see, for example, that we just killed, so to speak, 20 seekers, right? And in killing these 20 seekers, we acquired approximately 2 stacks of black metal. But these were just normal seekers. They were not starred seekers. Make sense? So it can seem like, oh, you don't get that much, right? Okay, so let's say that each 10 seekers is like a stack of black metal, right? So you'd need to kill a bunch of seekers to get all the black metal that you need. But that doesn't include the starred mobs that you find and the RNG, basically. So sometimes it can take more, other times it can take less. In this case, for example, let's spawn seeker soldiers, right? Seeker brutes, and we're gonna do 20 seeker brutes, but they're all gonna be level, or 2 stars, okay? So now you can see the huge difference in quantity of black metal that will occur. All right. So let's see. Yeah, we already got a bunch of stuff here. All right, let's see how this goes. This is funny. It looks like a similar amount, but it's actually bunch. All right, so we're gonna load all this up, and it actually looks like that happened so quickly that the server didn't notice all of the carapace. Because you see how this carapace, a lot of the carapace is supposed to be black metal. So I might actually, like, maybe I didn't balance it enough. Because it's what's happening is the carapace is dropping, and then the server turns it into black metal. So yeah, I can already tell, like, there's too much. Something's happening here, and probably because of the sheer quantity, like, the player would never kill that many that quickly. So it messed up the conversion because they were all happening at the exact same time. Normally that wouldn't happen. So a lot more of these would be black metal scrap. And that's sort of the idea. It's like a way to make a gameplay loop that makes the Mistlands process feel like you want to be in the Mistlands. So, like, from my perspective, this is not enough black metal scraps, basically. But it really depends. I have to, like I said, there's not much point in trying to get things right the first time from a development perspective, because you're always going to revise and edit things. It's much better to plan on revising and editing things, because that way, like, you don't have to spend an hour gimmicking and messing around with trying to get something right, and then you get it, you know, right. Instead, you can just work on something else, and then someone playtests the thing, and then they're like, hey, this is too common, and then you're like, yeah, you're probably right, and then you set it to what it should be. But, like, you need to rely on others' experiences. That part's really important. So, let's see. I'll catch up on some comments here. So, Jake in the Bushes, who's played a lot on Palm, by the way, you can check out, he streams sometimes. He's been on a break recently. But he says that he's excited for some of the updates. And it's ideal to make your own to level 2, but after that, there's more game features. Yeah, so on Palm you can get much higher level weapons than normal. You can get up to like level 96, something like that. But basically, yeah. So then Jake asked about the update. And so basically what's happening, Jake, is that there's these special Dverger, and you can find them in the Mistlands. Make scrapper, let's say a shield, for example. And as you're exploring, you'll come across the special Dverger. And then they're like this, right? And they ask you for some kind, or they ask you for these kind of scrappers, they ask you for black metal scrap specifically. So then you accumulate black metal scrap, right? Through killing seekers and doing infested mines. And then you trade in the black metal scrap to the Dverger as you get it. And for one of the reasons that they're so big right now, and I will have to reduce them almost certainly, is that I want the players to have to keep the Dverger alive. Because like if the amount is too small, then the Dverger doesn't function mechanically that much different than like a trader or something else. Whereas if the Dverger, if I can get the player to do it more like a long-term thing, I have a feeling I can help with a more fun gameplay loop, specifically targeting the Mistlands experience. And that's something I'll start playtesting at some point. But for now, I'm just working on all the different kinds of Dverger that are available, basically, and making it more open. And Rico says, am I the only one that likes the Mistlands? No, I think a lot of people like the Mistlands. They're just, like, you have to keep in mind that whatever you hear about Valheim, for the most part, is a bunch of bullshit. People are talking and complaining, and most of these people talking and complaining don't even play the game. We live in a world where people are literally sitting on their computer, on a forum, or on Reddit, looking for things to get invested in and complain about that they don't actively play. So, like, ultimately, people who like Valheim, I don't think they hate the Mistlands. It's not like that. It's just like, yeah, people who dislike Valheim, or who like Valheim, some people have strong feelings about the Mist, for sure. Absolutely. But I don't think everyone universally hates the Mist. Really. I don't think people feel that way at all. I personally, like, I do think that the Mist, like, this doesn't look nice to me. But that's because this is just, this is my, like, testing island, basically. So it's all, I do all sorts of gnarly stuff. Like, I'll just go around and force, delete, you know, huge amounts of stuff and like, just get rid of it. And, you know, like, this is the testing island, so it looks weird. That's just because this is the area I develop stuff in. It's not how the rest of the server actually looks. Let's see. Jake says, I like the Mistlands in Palm. Less mist. Yeah. Yeah, so let's see. Rico says, D's Misty Bowls mod fixes Mistlands. Let's see. What does that mod do? So there's a lot of different things people can do in the Mistlands. I like seeing the different ways modders handle it. I'll explain the way that I want to handle it, because there's actually something I want to try. Ah, okay, yeah, this is a great way to do it. So you make the Wisp Light in the game actually do something, instead of just being this annoying little bowl that barely pushes the mist away. That makes sense. That makes sense. So, like, my ideal way, I've tried a lot of different ways, and, like, right now, there's 2 layers on Palm. The first layer has a lot of mist, and then the later layer doesn't have that much. I can probably actually just show you some. Let's see. Oh no, is that north? Yeah, I don't want to go north. Let's see. Bum 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 bum. The hell? Where did I go here? Why did I do that? Oh, no, I put an extra 1 there. Oops. Oopsies. Alright, there we go. That's better. So, here we go. This, for example. This is just probably an inner Mistlands in Path of Magic. So Path of Magic has 2 layers of Mistlands. There's the inner and the outer layer. The inner layer only has mist where there's soft tissue, whereas the outer layer has full mist. Personally, I like occasional mist. I don't actually like when all the mist is gone, personally, and that's why there's actually a feature I've been working on. Basically what I want to do... Wow, it's funny. I feel like I have to have the character face forward so I can... It's like, apparently I feel like I embody this character a little bit. But basically what I want to do is make it so that the mist, like, rolls around. Because in real life, sort of that's what happened. Not that I want to be realistic. I don't really care about realism. All I care about is fun, for the most part. Fun and testing, like, gameplay ideas. But the thing I want to settle on is having the mist basically, like, only 1/10 of it is around, but every couple days the 10% that's there changes. So like maybe this week there's some mist covering that lake, but then next week the mist is gone. Make sense? And oh, it's funny you ask, Rico R. A way to clear mist after clearing an area would be nice. Well, on Palm we already have... I'm talking about ways that the mist is spawned originally, but the players on Palm actually have a way to do that. I'll show you. You just need a sword, a Mist Walker, and the Mist Walker has a special attack. Like if we look over there, see that? We have some mist over here, but this might be part of... Yeah, it's part of these, so these ones can't be removed by this. Let's find some normal mist somewhere. I guess I could just make some, actually. Yeah, here. 1 second. Oh, there we go. That looks relatively normal. So, on Path of Magic, once you get this sword, it has a special middle attack. So, like, you can swipe normally, right? It's just normal. Then when you use the middle attack, it'll actually target the mist nearby and delete it. But you have to be kind of close to the center, if that makes sense. And also it might not work if I don't have ghost enabled. I don't remember exactly where it is, to be honest. But that's how players on Path of Magic get rid of it. You just do this and then it targets the mist prefab and it'll get rid of it. This one might be one of the ones that lasts, so give me a second. Let me spawn one that I know is temporary, or one that isn't permanent. Spawn mist area. There we go. Wait, what? Vanished. Interesting. Ah, yeah, because I have a protector that stops it from spawning. Ah, yeah, alright, alright. Sorry, I'm running a test to see if this prevents the mist from showing up, and it does. So... That's why there's less mist, actually. It's because I made it so the server responds to mist being loaded for the first time by destroying the mist. So that's why when I spawn it, it shows up for a second and then vanishes. It's because the server is actually getting rid of it. Which means that the mist there is some of the mist that's inside of the location for the like, skull thing. Some of the list for the location, you know, the ones that have the, like, the giants and the soft tissue and that kind of thing. That mist is persistent. But for the most part, I totally agree. I think that players should have ways for the player to clear the mist and make it go away, pretty much. And this is the dynamic that basically, you see these Diverger, these are the wild Diverger. I'm gonna make it so, like, 1% of the time, when one of these Diverger spawns, there's a chance that it turns into, you know, one of these Diverger. Make, Scrapper, I don't know, let's go with the Mace. right? So the player will just be like exploring. Maybe they'll run away from a monster or something, and they'll look around, and then they'll find something like this, a unique diverger. And that's the Wandering Diverger patch. And now you see, say you like that, you like the trade he's offering, a mace for only 600. I mean, that's one of the cheaper ones. But then, I mean, what are you gonna do if he gets killed? Well, if he dies, then you lose your chance of getting that trade, so you gotta keep him alive. You know what I'm saying? And they're pretty strong, to be honest. They're the Ashlands ones, but they're not 2-starred or anything, and if they don't have enough Diverger support buddies, they absolutely will get killed. So you do have to be a bit careful. But this will be what it's like from the player's perspective. They'll just find them. And then, yeah, that's the idea. Like, I want to make it more fun to find. Like, right now, once the player's been to a couple of these Diverger places, what motivates the player to find new ones? You know what I mean? And that's why what I was originally trying to get at is that the scrappers, as you're seeing, are actually only one portion. There's 31 different kinds of Diverger, and the scrappers are like a third of them. In addition, there's some other ones. There's these hide workers and like armor masters, and these give you a full set of already empowered armor. It's not fully empowered, but it's really strong. It's like level 24, but only of the earlier armors in the game. So you can get like iron armor or bronze armor or a troll armor set that's empowered. And it's a way to like, yeah, just motivate players to try other things, right? And then we also have these like smelter ones. Let me find them. Yeah, here we go. The masters and the specialists. So there's two kinds. There's the iron specialist. And so these ones work. They basically smelt stuff for you, and you get a bonus when you find it. So basically, let's imagine that this was an iron specialist. We would come and find him, and then it would say, give me 200 iron scraps or ore and get 400 iron bars. Makes sense? So he doubles the material. Instead of you having to smelt and take the time which you normally would have to do, there's a way to just give ore and get double the bars, right? So that's an incentive for building and that kind of thing. And that's how another third of these like Wandering Diverger work. They're like metal specialists. So it'll either be iron or copper or bronze or whatever. And then it's kind of like a quest. It's like you found this one, and he's like, okay, if you give me 240 bronze scraps, then I'm going to give you 480 bronze bars. And you can get bronze scraps from Mistlands, and it's kind of counterintuitive because you would get them from, you know, raiding these bases and these things. But hey, it is what it is. And there's a bunch of different ones. So they're not all perfectly balanced, but I'm going to add them in like one big patch, basically, and try and see how that adds to the Mistlands experience. But for now, that's all. I'm going to end our Path of Magic live stream today. I'm excited to show you how this patch has been working in the next one. I'll have had more time to implement it, so I'll show it off in more detail instead of just teasing it at the end like this time. Jake says, if I harpoon him to drag him around, will he get mad and attack me? Huh. I don't know, actually. Let's see. Spawn, Shitten, Spear. Oh, no, it's... yeah. Spear, Chitin. I like saying Shitten, but I heard Baliog say it. Or Balron, sorry. Balron said it, and he said Chitin. And I was like, that's probably what it's supposed to be, not Shitten. So let's see. What happens if I try and get this diverger. Where'd he go? Let's see. These are all normal diverger. Where's our friend? Oh, I got tattled on? Alright, alright. Oh, he's up here. He's just chilling up here? That's kind of funny. Do you care if I harpoon you? Oh, yes, he does care. He does not like it that I harpooned him. But I think maybe if you harpoon and then you give him his favorite food. Oh, he loses the harpoon. Ha! That's funny. That's very crafty. So you literally have to harpoon him with him aggroed if you want to move him around like that. Ha! Interesting. I mean, it's definitely possible with bubble blocking. Definitely possible. Oh, I aggroed everybody. I was like, why are they all trying to kill me? That's funny. Alright, everybody. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today. And I'll see you in the next live stream of The Path of Magic. If you want to support my work and learn more about using Valheim as your own game development experience, then consider checking out my videos on YouTube. You could also support me on Patreon if you really like playing on the server, but it's not necessary. The server is completely free to play, and I really don't mind. As far as I'm concerned, you're paying just by playing. Having the experience helps me learn better ways to build things, and people give me all sorts of ideas on what to work on, and etc, etc, etc. Alternatively, if you want to set up your own server, I've got a lot of content about that, and I show people how to make their own dedicated server for EWP. I actually just use plug-and-play servers that you just, pay like 15, 20 bucks a month for. But you don't actually have to do that. You can set up your own server. I've never done it. And then you just run it on like your own computer. You can do that. So you don't have to do these other ways. I just do it through Zap because it's convenient and easy, and it allows me to run a server that people can play on and have experiences on, and that's been really awesome. And alternatively, I do have Patreon, and you could support me on there. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.